anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
This is your president. In the past 10 years, I have fooled all of you into believing the socialist ideology of everyone is equal. How? By making everyone believe the lie and having destroyed our nation's sovereignty. Through communism, we will all be a unified global government of acceptance by making everyone have the same thing. You won't be an American, you won't be a citizen anymore. You will be the same as your dog, your neighbors in Mexico. If all have nothing, then all will be equal. That is the purpose of socialism. You are nothing unless the government tells you who or what you are. Don't pretend you don't know what I've been doing. I brainwashed you through high-definition television. You are truly the walking dead. If I told you to give up your freedoms, you would. But it's already happened, so I don't need to keep convincing you. You all are vegetables now anyway. Oh, by the way, if you can't see that I'm the Antichrist, then there's no reason anymore to tell you what must be done next, because you'll be hunted down with the Christians and exterminated for not believing me, not accepting who I am. I'm your Messiah, your Imam Mahdi. April 23rd, 2018, I told the world, but it wasn't time yet to bring out who I am. So the conspiracy must continue against Trump until that is accomplished. The rapture must happen first. Remember always that I made narcotics legal. I made every kind accessible. I made this addicted nation a reality through suicide, overdoses, you name it. I did that. Ever wonder how I control everything you see and hear? I own the media. I have since I took over in 2009. I laugh when I see Republicans standing next to each other without a word. They can't. I control what they see, what they hear. Want truth, facts? Forget it. I am your whole world now. If life means anything today, it won't under the global system I've initiated since I became president in 2009. My legions accept whatever I tell them to do. You will too, or you'll be hunted down with the rest and exterminated. It's as simple as that. Accept and obey, or resist and die. I am your hope for tomorrow. I am your president. There is only one outcome: world domination. Either you'll accept me or be taken out. It's time to take a stand for one or the other. Me or freedom and liberty. Remember Adolf Hitler, freedom is a lie. Enslavement is acceptance.
Where are you, Kate? Down. The other tower just went down.
Power's down. Second tower's down.
Got another tower that went down, Kate? The other tower's down. Another tower's down! From me! The tower's down! Get away from me! Get away from me! The house is down!
And we will decriminalize marijuana, and we will expunge the records of those who have been convicted of marijuana. This is the time for leadership on a tragic issue
Senator Harris,
of unarmed black people in America who have been killed.
Senator Harris.
I am Patrick McGugan, John Drake, but you also know me as number 6. Who was I really? I represented you, the private citizen. It was symbolism of the Socialist World Order we see today. You didn't get it, did you? Now we all are facing this reality, that all are controlled by the New World Order.
We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, start trying to regulate thoughts, start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
We'll continue with As the World Turns following station identification. Follow Todd and Link.
From CBS News in New York. This report just in. Alvin the Chipmunk has been arrested today at EMI Studios in Hollywood on attempted murder charges. According to the Associated Press, he branded a .22 caliber pistol and shot Dave Seville at close range during a recording session for their upcoming record release. Witnesses say Alvin was despondent and yelled, quote, "I've had it with Dave and his constant demands on me, Simon, and Theodore for the overworking he has put us through to make the release. He gets all the money and we get all the sleepless hours," unquote. Last reports say Mr. Seville is in surgery at Hollywood Memorial Hospital. We'll break in with any updates. For CBS News, I'm Walter Cronkite. We now return to normal programming.
We'll be back in 10 seconds to allow all our stations to identify themselves and to join the network.
Let's start with the music again.
Look, Dave, I've had it with you. We tried everything to get this record recorded. Every single time we start arguing about this, I'm really fed up with it.
Look, Alvin, I mean, if you're not happy, there's the door. Get out, okay? Because, I mean, we're here to make money, and we're not here to argue about what you want to be recorded on the record and what we know has to be recorded.
So that's the way it is, huh, Dave? It's either your way or the highway, huh?
Okay, listen, this is the control room. Let's cut out that arguing, all right? Let's get on back to recording. We gotta get this thing done. You know we're on a tight schedule, Alvin. So let's just do it the way Dave says. Very good, Simon.
Naturally.
You were smooth, Theodore. Alvin, you were kind of flat. Watch it. Alvin?
That takes care of you, Dave.
We'll be back in 10 seconds to allow all our stations to identify themselves and to join the network.
Service Department of Word. That's an experiment that was done at the Good Housekeeping Institute to show how new night breeze, shirt collars, children's clothes, all your smaller things. For your larger things, or when you have a lot to starch, use Instant Niagara with the exclusive washer starching method. Just pour Niagara into the washer. It's the only packaged dry starch that works this way. Niagara's deep, penetrating action gives long-lasting beauty to sheets, curtains, even slipcovers. See how fresh and lightly smooth, never stiff or boardy. So for the two most convenient ways to starch, get Instant Niagara for washer starching, Niagara Spray Starch for spray starching. So effective, they've earned the good housekeeping seal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the local hospital in Hollywood. We're here. It's approximately 11:30 in the evening, and the last reports we have from the doctors who are operating on Dave Seville is that his condition has improved. He is no longer near death. They say that they've been able to stabilize all of his vital signs. Apparently, the bullets struck not in the heart or near it, but around it. Apparently, Alvin must have been shooting the gunshots in that general direction, but it primarily got other vital organs. It's definitely, they say, it's hit his stomach. One of his kidneys was hit, and they say there is some spinal damage, but they don't think that it would be severe enough that he wouldn't walk again. I've asked the doctor if whether or not Dave might be conscious for us to talk to him at a later date or time tonight, and they are saying possibly he may come out of surgery. Oh, here comes the doctor. Just a moment. Doctor, how is Dave? Is he going to make it?
Yes, his vital signs are very good. We have very high hopes that Dave will make a full recovery. I've got to get back in.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard it live. His doctors are saying that apparently Dave isn't severely injured to the point that it was a life-threatening event. He has quite a long ways to go, we know, but this is very encouraging news to anyone who is fans of the Alvin and the Chipmunks group, that their band leader, Dave Seville, is apparently going to make a full recovery. If and when the opportunity arises, Walter, we will come back here live and try to get an interview with Dave if and when he comes out of surgery and he's able to talk with us. We're not going to push him on this because we know how seriously injured and wounded he was from these gunshots. But for now, I'm going to take it back to New York and to Walter Cronkite. This is David Carter for CBS News. This is David Carter for WCBS, and we're in Hollywood, California at the present time to do an interview today with Dave Seville. He's the band leader of the Alvin and the Chipmunks, who in the past 3 to 4 days was severely injured, if not potentially almost shot to death by Alvin during one of the recording sessions during Christmas Day in the EMI studios. When this story broke, we found out that the studio recording engineer had accidentally continued recording the segments without shutting the recorder off, and we were able to get those fatal moments when Alvin had the confrontation with Dave and shot him. We've been told now by the doctors that he is well enough to do an interview with us. To be understood, he is probably not going to be able to answer too many questions, but they're saying that he is conscious, and he has been willing now to have a brief interview with us, with CBS, and we're going in to talk with Dave at this present time. So please stand by. We will go inside with the equipment, and we'll be right back with you again. Dave, my name is David Carter. I work for CBS News out of New York for WCBS. We're really, really sorry to hear that this tragedy has happened to you, of all people, because whenever we hear you on these records, you and Alvin and Simon and Theodore all seem to be so happy. And I know that it's a part of your job to have these outbursts, towards Alvin because it makes it funnier. But we never knew that behind the scenes there was really this hatred that was building up between you and Alvin. What is your opinion, Dave, as to why would Alvin do something like this? What was your opinions about that?
Well, I can't say. I'm just trying as hard as I can right now to make this interview. It really hurts, in my chest area. But I can tell you honestly, I cannot believe Alvin would do this to me. It doesn't make sense to think about it. We were having such a good time doing the recording, and then he started up about this totally unexpected argument about us not getting along, and the recording wasn't going the way he hoped it would, and he wasn't getting to say the things he wanted to in the record, and we were already behind schedule on the recording anyway, and I kept saying to him, look, Alvin, there's nothing else I can do. I mean, if you're not happy, you should just hit the road. I was mad already at Alvin, but I was mad at everybody at the recording studio. We have a hard type of job, it's very stressful, and you've got so much time that you have to record this and get it out. And we didn't know what we were going to do with getting it done if Alvin wasn't happy with what we were trying to do. And then he pulled the gun. I just could not believe it. I tried to duck and he did it at the worst moment. I was just screaming like we normally do, and then the gunshots came out. I was just shocked. And then I knew I'd been hurt really bad, and I went to the ground, and there was Alvin continually shooting at me, and I was immobilized. By then I was unconscious.
Dave, we've talked to Simon, we've talked to Theodore, and the answers that we're getting from both, surprising as it is that apparently Alvin wasn't really upset by anything. They couldn't detect that he was mad multiple sessions before. It's just kind of like it surprised them that he would lash out and start shooting at you like this. Doesn't make sense to anybody. And Alvin, I interviewed him earlier, Dave, this week, and he is adamant to say that he doesn't want to talk about the incident with anybody until his attorney did show up, and the attorney said, we're not answering any questions, so no one ever got a chance to talk to anybody, really. Not to Alvin, not to the attorney. Police ushered us out, so now we still have no facts from him telling his side of the story. But Dave, really, on behalf of CBS and on the behalf of our nation, there's millions of children, Dave, who are just praying for you, and we're getting reports that children are writing letters in school to you of get well soon, and just want you to know that what you've been through, you've got loyal fans of millions of children out there who are right now writing to you and offering get well soon wishes, and that'll be an encouragement, I know, for you.
Yes, it is. It's good to know that what we've done in the recordings of Alvin and the Chipmunks has been such a blessing to so many children, to little girls, to little boys in America. To all of them, I'd say thank you so much for thinking of me, and I know that I have a long way to go, but I'm never going to stop doing these recordings, because even if we got somebody else to play Alvin, it would never be that same camaraderie. But I do thank you on behalf of Theodore and Simon and me that We have fans throughout the world who care about us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. I'm going to leave you now because I know you need to get some rest.
I'm Gertie Smith. I was just like the woman who lived in a stew. I had so many children that I didn't know what to do about ironing. Kind of gets you right here, doesn't it?
Then get NewSoft fabric softener. Just one capful in the final rinse, and NewSoft proves you can cut ironing time. Because NewSoft renews the life detergents wash away. These pants were washed in detergent. They're stiff, wrinkled, need ironing. These pants were washed in the same detergent, then rinsed with NewSoft. They're soft, wrinkle-free, need no ironing. Look at the difference NewSoft makes. Many clothes you just fold and put away. No ironing. Because NewSoft renews the life detergents wash away.
Now, thanks to NewSoft, I have more time to play with the babies.
We'll be back in 10 seconds to allow all our stations to identify themselves and to join the network.
This is AWEG-ATV-5 in Atlanta, Georgia. ACBS network station.
Alvin, this is David Carter for CBS News. Can you tell us, please, why did you do this? Why did you shoot at Dave Seville?
Hey, get that microphone out of my face. I am not answering any questions until I have my attorney here.
Come on now, Alvin. That's not a legitimate reason. You gotta give us more facts. What is this all about? I mean, did you guys just have some kind of a constant bickering problem, or is it just spur-of-the-moment feeling that you just hated his guts and didn't want to be around him anymore? What's the point of it all?
Did you hear me? Get that microphone out of my face!
Well, folks, I don't know what else to tell you. It sounds like to me that Alvin is just being uncooperative. The police department have told me as well that they've asked him several questions, and he's saying the same thing. He don't want to talk to nobody. He ain't going to talk to anybody until he gets his lawyer.
Look, pal, I've told you before. I ain't talking to nobody until my lawyer tells me to.
Well, we'll keep on top of this, and possibly later on we may be able to talk with Simon and Theodore about possibly what they saw coming at the moment that he shot the fatal shots at Dave. At least at this point, we don't know if he will survive, if he'll be able to get through this massive surgery that the doctors are saying that he's going to have to undergo, but we'll keep you updated. We'll take it right now back to New York studios and Walter Cronkite. Walter?
Yeah, so just take a hike.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Carter again for CBS News. We're in Hollywood at the present time, and I have the privilege of talking today with Theodore and Simon, the two other chipmunks of the group known as Alvin and the Chipmunks. We wanted to ask them both what was going on as far as the feelings that Alvin had towards Dave Seville. I mean, is this something that was a cumulative effect where it was constantly happening in the studio each time you came to record? Was it spur of the moment? Was it, was it something ongoing that Alvin was getting to the stage where he was going to start hurting other people, or did it just come so quick nobody ever expected that it would happen at all?
We don't understand why Alvin would do this. It's beyond my interpretation. He's always been so nice. He's been so nice to get along with. He loves Dave. At least that's how he came across whenever we worked together. I can't say exactly what's wrong with Alvin. When we worked together at EMI Studios, it was always a very pleasant experience between all of us. I don't understand it myself. That day when I came into work, I could tell Alvin was really uptight. And I don't know what he was thinking. I just know he and Dave had had a fight on our last recording session, but it never blew up like what happened yesterday. He took a gun out all of a sudden and nobody even saw it coming. And when he started shooting directly at Dave, me and Theodore just took a flying leap behind one of the instruments. One of the amplifiers was nearby, and you know, those are pretty big, so we figured at least it would protect us some if he started to shoot randomly at other people in the recording studio. But I cannot understand why would Alvin do that.
Well, thank you both for talking with us. This is David Carter from CBS News in Hollywood. We will now take it back to Walter Cronkite in New York. And, Alvin, the whole world, the whole nation wants to know only one answer. Why? Why did you do this to somebody who you respected enough to do these records with? And he respected you. I interviewed him. He said, I don't understand why Alvin would want to shoot me. We have arguments, he said, but not to the point that it would cause this kind of a backlash where you would want to kill him. And your fans, all those millions of children, little boys and girls out there, they want to know that answer, Alvin. Why? Why did you do this?
Look, pal, I know I've got fans, and all I'm going to say is this. Dave just drew over the line. When we came in, he was already complaining, and he was in my face screaming about we've got to do this recording session on time, and there's no other way to do it except to be the way he wants.
Come on now, Alvin, that's still not an answer, though. I mean, you had to have some sort of a psychopathic need to lunge out at Dave like that, to shoot him. I mean, not just once, you shot him multiple times. I mean, doesn't that show precognition? You preordained to do this. I mean, you knew you were going to shoot Dave. You had the gun somewhere on the premises of EMI when you did this. And, you know, Alvin, that's absolutely sick to think that you would do something like that. I mean, that's crazy to do something like that, Alvin.
What else can I say, pal? I mean, we did the best we could with what we were doing. And I'm only going to say this once. You don't know what goes on in that recording session. You don't know the kind of stress and the pressures that we have to go through. And I tell you this to all the fans. Dave Seville is a jack. I think he doesn't care about anybody except the money. And you can hear that. You can hear that in the recording on the day that I shot him. He was upset from day one about it. Yelling at me, screaming at me. And then you hear it in the recordings up until this point. Dave Seville cares about money. He doesn't care about anything else. Don't care about the children who listen to his records. Don't care about anything for morality. If he did, he wouldn't be screaming in my face all the time, would he? He wouldn't be saying, Alvin!
Whatever your philosophies are, Dave, Alvin, I can only say this much to you. America has loved the Chipmunks. They have loved you. They've loved Simon. They've loved Theodore. They've loved Dave. And all of this hate that's built up, I mean, whatever it was, whatever it is, whatever it will be, you have to come to terms with what it's about, Alvin. It was not about money. If it were about money, then those little kids that are your fans, even now, Alvin, the ones that'll be your fans all their lives, even though they've known now what you've done, I mean, doesn't that kind of make you feel a guilt complex that you've ravaged their minds, you've stripped their innocence, because now they cannot look at this act and not think that you've done something bad that will affect them the rest of their lives. I mean, these kids are only like 2 and 3 and 4 years old, maybe 5, Alvin. I mean, you've got to have some feeling about that. At least I would think you should.
Listen, pal, this interview has gone as far as I plan to go with it. I'm going to say this only one more time. Dave was in charge of the entire band. I might have gotten all of the publicity and the public recognition, but it was Dave who was getting all the money. It wasn't me. It wasn't Simon. It wasn't Theodore. It was nobody. It was him. He got all the money. All we got was just a little scrawny paycheck to buy nuts for our tree with, okay? We never had a chance to really do anything with the potential that we had for this record label. I mean, Bags Design peanuts, you know? I mean, I'm a chipmunk. I gotta figure out somewhere to live. I gotta have something to eat to put on my table. But these little kids, I mean, they're human, so they don't know what it's like to be a chipmunk. You don't know what it feels like to have to scavenge and claw your way through tree after tree and find acorns or something to eat. And Dave, all he cared about was those big Rolls Royces he was driving around in. Do you think he ever got us a car like that? Maybe a Mercedes or any of those real expensive Cadillacs you see on the highways? No! He never did any of that. We had nothing. Dave took all of it. We got nothing, pennies to live on.
Well, Walter, I think I've done all the interviewing I'm going to do. This creep, I mean, he's not the same person we ever thought he was. At least I don't think. And I'm sure you agree, Walter. I mean, this is a sick-mind person who shoots an unarmed man like this just because he wants to have the privilege to have his own say on these albums that they've been making. And it's not the fact that Dave Seville himself, being the band leader, should decide what is said and what's recorded. I mean, I know everybody has the right to express themselves, but that's not the outcome of this. It's obvious. I mean, you got one guy who got all the popularity, and it was Alvin himself, and then you turn around and he takes it all away from the rest of the group. Because Simon and Theodore both, I interviewed them right after it happened, and they said this: we can't understand why would Alvin want to kill or even try to kill or even hurt Dave. I mean, they've always had such a great relationship.
I can only say this to those little kids out there who now their minds have been squashed by the reality of what's happening. This world will not get better, kids. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's better to face the reality now. Does anybody remember 2 years ago when our great President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas? Oh yeah, that was a reality check too. And all those little kids, I remember them outside the hospital crying. Yeah, you gotta remember those things. You can't just kind of pretend that it didn't happen and go on with your life and think, oh, that was just a TV show. It wasn't real. Well, what I did to Dave, I did to prove to the world that EMI, Bags Design, Dave Seville, they're money makers. They don't care about you. They don't care about you buying those records. They want the money. That's all they want, the money they're making. So you need to remember that. Always remember that. Everything for children is about money. And that's all it's ever going to be, kids. I'm sorry, but that's reality. And I ain't saying nothing else. Warden, get me out of here. Take me back to my cell. I ain't talking no more.
We'll keep following this story, Walter, until we can figure out an answer. But for right now, after having interviewed Alvin in jail, I can say I don't think there's doubts in anyone's mind of this chipmunk's mentality now. He is not the same person anybody ever thought he was. And we're going to end it at that and send it back to New York and to Walter. This is David Carter reporting from Hollywood, California at the local county jail. We've been interviewing Alvin the Chipmunk, who has now been incarcerated and charged with first-degree attempted murder. Going back now to WCBS, CBS Network in New York. Walter?
Okay, so I'm in San Quentin. Big deal. So I try to kill Dave Seville. Big deal. I'm gonna get out of here very, very soon. And when I do, I'm coming after the people who put me in here. The judge, Theodore, everybody. So be watching for me. And
Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Carter reporting for CBS News. I'm broadcasting right now by telephone from KCHP studios in downtown Hollywood, California. We have learned, as you have, of a broadcast that was done by Alvin the Chipmunk, who escaped from San Quentin about 2 weeks ago. And we're now learning that he has been recaptured by police, and we don't know much more about his reasons. They just said he went into a rambling menagerie on air and okay, yeah. They're telling me, ladies and gentlemen, that they have found an audio recording of Alvin, the ramblings that he did, and here shortly we'll have a chance to air it, I hope. But I just want all of you to know that what you're going to hear is unedited, and we hope that perhaps for posterity it can be preserved somehow or another. But don't take any of his ramblings seriously, ladies and gentlemen. I think this guy is he's mentally disturbed. He's unbalanced. I think that's proof positive in the fact that he was at San Quentin. Who knows what they were giving him? If you remember during the trial, he was taking medication and various sedatives to keep him under control. And all we can hope for is that they'll keep him a lot more under observation, and there'll be higher security at San Quentin now. But we don't have any more facts, ladies and gentlemen, of who assisted him. Okay, they're gonna replay it now, ladies and gentlemen. Just a moment.
welcome back, kids. This is Herman the Chipmunk from KCHP AM 550, serving Hollywood and Irvine and surrounding communities. I got the turntable set up for 2 more great hits. You cats are gonna love it. So get ready to... Ladies and gentlemen, American, but I'm not Alvin. My name is Alfonso Gorkin. I'm not going to tell you anything of where I come from. I'm just here to try to put the record straight of who I am. I'm sure the police are listening to this broadcast right now. That's fine, because you know where I am now. But before you come and get me, I'm going to have my say. I'm going to tell the world. I'm going to tell the people of Hollywood, at least. I was sent to do a job, and that's what it was. I was not trying to hurt Dave Seville because of who he is. It was because of who and what he represented. And that's the money empire of Capitol Records. Many different companies are trying to get into this elusive group called Chipmunks. You got all these different groups that are coming out. You know who I'm talking about. The Crickets, the Eager, Busy Beavers. I could go on and on about them, but I just gotta tell you, the reason that I shot Dave Seville was because of money and laundering by groups and organizations who wanted to control what was being made and who could do those records that were made. And if you got rid of the conglomerate monopoly, which is Capitol Records, if you got rid of Dave Seville, you would have gotten rid of the main monopoly of chipmunk music. Then everybody else would have been able to get into it. That's what my job was to do. Infiltrate and take out Dave Seville in order to create the illusion that there was more free enterprise. But you didn't hear that because the government wouldn't want to tell you these things. That's why they clammed me up. That's why they put me in San Quentin after the jury made their pathetic excuse of a verdict in this case. They just kept thinking, oh, this poor chipmunk, he don't need to be out hurting other people, and we need to put him someplace where we can take care of him and all the rest of it. Well, in a way, they're right. But I'm not psychologically crazy. I'm totally within my own mind. The FBI is going to probably come in soon. Probably pull the plug on this, but at least I had that much that I can get out over the air. I never knew Dave Seville very long because I wasn't really in the group very long. Once they put me in, my intentions from the start were really to just take out Dave and get out. And here I thought they had it all set up to get me out of the country, get me out of California. And they just fed me to the dogs because I didn't
officers!
Get over to the microphone, man.
Open up! Open!
Ladies and gentlemen, the police are at the door here. They're pounding. They're saying, open it up. They're telling Alvin. They just busted the door down, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Alvin.
They got the gun away from Alvin.
Put your hands up.
Take him away. Get that creep out of
Get
here.
that gun
We
out
don't
of his
need
head,
him.
you idiot.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you've just heard is just a fanatic trying to say something to save his own skin. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
All right, let's go, Alvin.
How do you want to see him?
Taking your slime butt back to the penitentiary. And don't give us any of your lap anymore either.
What a tense moment, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe that he actually got out of prison. We just heard about it. That they had spotted him here in Hollywood just about 2 hours ago. And the police were out in mass trying to find out where he might have gone to. Of course, all of you know the story. He did get out of jail by escaping 2 weeks ago. Nobody knows who helped him. They don't know how he got assistance in breaking out, and thank goodness, at least the threat is over. And all that rambling and nonsense he kept talking about, just forget about that stuff. Don't even listen to what he said.
From CBS News in New York, this report just in. Alvin the Chipmunk has been arrested today at EMI Studios in Hollywood on attempted murder charges. According to the Associated Press, he branded a .22 caliber pistol and shot Dave Seville at close range during a recording session for their upcoming record release. Witnesses say Alvin was despondent and yelled, quote, "I've had it with Dave and his constant demands on me, Simon, and Theodore for the overworking he has put us through to make the release. He gets all the money and we get all the sleepless hours," unquote. Last reports say Mr. Seville is in surgery at Hollywood Memorial Hospital. We'll break in with any updates. For CBS News, I'm Walter Cronkite. We now return to normal programming.
This is David Carter reporting by phone from the Los Angeles courtroom. Right now we are waiting outside for the majority of the defense and the attorney's office to come out with their reactions to what happened in regards to the judge's decision of his final determination on Alvin's case. They're not saying much to us, but I believe, Walter, that the judge went with the jury's decision about this. They said that the judge took their recommendations to heart and that he agreed with it. That's what they're telling me right now, but they're still inside the courtroom. Oh, okay, here comes Mr. Fitzroy right now. Mr. Fitzroy, this is David Carter for CBS News. What is your personal feelings about what happened today? Do you think that the judge was correct in his decisions about Alvin?
I can only tell you that the state feels that the judge made the right decision. We were actually trying to get the death penalty, but the judge decided that in this case it was best that Alvin be given medical treatment and care. It was the jury's actual recommendation today that I think probably has already predetermined what the judge is going to rule in the next 2 weeks regarding this case.
Mr. Fitzroy, let me ask you another question. What is your opinion of really Alvin's reaction itself? I mean, I know you were there in the courtroom watching this, and we're not getting very much of any details from the other attorneys because, you know, there are gag orders under full effect here by the judge, and this could be the only chance we'll ever have to ask you. Do you think he mentally was aware of what the judge said to him at the time that
the verdict was handed down. What is your opinion?
I looked in Alvin's direction when the jury gave their verdict, and I can tell you he was so heavily medicated by whatever they're giving him that I didn't see any response in his face or otherwise. I don't think he's really even aware of what's happened today. But his attorney will probably explain it to him, I'm sure. If not, the doctors who are actually giving him this medicine will probably have many opportunities to discuss it with him during the therapy sessions they're already treating him.
On that basis, also, some people are leaking out the fact that Alvin was removed from the courtroom during the trial. Now, if that's true, Mr. Fitzroy, do you think that it's a fair trial that he is not always in court hearing testimony from his peers and they're making the decision they made in this verdict? Or do you think maybe he was he taken out for other reasons besides it just being that maybe the court was saying things that y'all didn't feel he should hear? Why was he removed, or was he removed from court?
Yes, he was placed in isolation on several occasions during the trial. He was very adamant and arrogant about thinking that his status as a celebrity gave him special position within the case to really just behave any way he wanted to, and the judge told him from the beginning, you're not going to do it here, and he's not getting any special treatment. So that's why a lot of times he just kind of blew up at the judge, and he blew up even at his own attorney about it. So eventually he was just taken away by the sheriff's office, and the last couple of weeks of the trial he was already being sedated, and they had him in isolation even then because he was having fights with some of the other inmates, and they just, they were at each other's throats about this whole thing. So I can't say really what is his mental status as far as is he mentally ill? I don't know. Is he faking the whole thing? Is he really just making it up? We don't even know that. So it's anyone's guess. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fitzroy, for allowing us to talk with you.
Just a moment, please. Mr. Cochran, this is CBS News. We're live on the air by phone here. Can you tell us what your opinion is about the judge's decision? I personally think that the decision that was made by the judge was a serious failure of our judicial system. I don't think the chipmunk we knew as Alvin is the same person we know today, and I will go as far as I can, even to the state Supreme Court, to try and appeal his decision. But I don't know whether or not I'll really have any fighting chance. I mean, this is a very highly publicized case.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cochran. Let me ask you also, what is your opinion about Alvin's reaction to the verdict that was given today? Do you believe that he's mentally aware of his surroundings? What sort of facial response did you get from Alvin?
No, he was pretty much just docile. They have him on a lot of medicine because of the violent reactions he was giving the judge during the case. And all I can say to your radio and television audience is that Alvin is highly sedated, and they have such taken him back to jail, and I know he'll be there during the sentencing phase when the judge makes his recommendation, but he just hasn't been cooperating with me.
I know the process is going to be very, very long, Mr. Cochran. Can you tell us, please, what is your assumption of the amount of time involved in proceeding with the initial appeal? Are you
going to be able to do it quick, or is it going to just be a long, drawn-out process of going through paperwork? And I mean, how long do you think?
No, I have no idea how long the appeal process could take. It could be years. We're just going to go one step at a time on that.
Well, on behalf of CBS News, we thank you, Mr. Cochran, for allowing us to discuss this with you, and I know you want to get back to to your office and to proceed the next step. So thank you for allowing us to talk with you, Mr. Cochran. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Walter, there's nothing more. They're talking about it, just in very, very generalizations. If we can hear anything or find out anything else from the jury, I'm sure they're not going to talk, but we'll stay on top of this, and if anything else, news breaking comes in, we'll get back with you, Walter. This is David Carter from Los Angeles.
Thank you, ma'am, for talking with us today. This is Larry the Chipmunk speaking. Man on the reporter. We've been talking all day about this with adults, and we saw this child here at the corner eating an ice cream cone, and we thought we'd ask, what do you think about this verdict decision? I mean, I know it's not something you probably know much about, but do you think they did the right decision in sentencing Alvin to life in prison?
I think they make the wrong decision. I think they made the wrong decision myself. I think they shouldn't have tried him. I think they should have let him go. That's what I think. I don't think they were right.
Do you think it'll ever change your feelings about Alvin now that this has happened? Do you think maybe kids are going to probably feel different about him and about what he stood for, that he just tried to help kids have a fun time listening to his music and seeing him on television?
No, I'll never change how I feel about Alvin. I don't think anybody will. He was a nice chipmunk to me.
We're going back now to the studio, and thank you for letting me interview these folks. Now back to the station.
From CBS News in New York, this report just in. Alvin the Chipmunk has been arrested today at EMI Studios in Hollywood on attempted murder charges. According to the Associated Press, he branded a .22 caliber pistol and shot Dave Seville at close range during a recording session for their upcoming record release.
I'm going to sing a song about a square, and I want you to look all around your room for one. But remember, a square has 4 straight sides, and each side is just as long as the other, and it has 4 corners that are the same size. One, 2, 3, 4. There's a square out there. Can you guess the square? Do you think that you can find it? You must be aware of the shape of a square if you really want to find it. So look with care for the shape of a square.
You can come and play now. You can come and play now. Come into the door. ما مرضنيش.
قديش عمرك؟
4 سنين.